face to know more about all matters and all people that make Britain what it is today. Out of Britain, with me, Radhika Iyer.
This is NDTV, and you're watching NDTV 24/7.
This is India Global. I'm Gaurie Dwivedi. As always, let's start the show with the top stories coming in. First up, big win for India's fight against terrorism. 26/11 Mastermind Tahawwur Rana extradited from US and will shortly arrive in India. The terror accused is set to land in New Delhi anytime now. Donald Trump's latest crackdown on pro-Palestinian protesters. DHS all set to screen aliens, quote-unquote, social media for any anti-Semitism messages. India hits back at Mohammad Yunus's northeastern remark. New Delhi now terminates transshipment facility for Dhaka. It will have a major impact on Bangladesh exports in the entire region. And this week on Spot On, we have a Grammy winner Chandrika Tandon exclusively talking about the life that she now leads, balancing meditation and music. Full podcast out this Saturday on 12th of April, 9 a.m. Big story that we are tracking right now. Tahawwur Rana, the mastermind of the horrendous 26/11 terror attack that took 166 lives, is set to now be in India anytime. In fact, he is set to land very shortly to India, where of course he will then be whisked by the National Intelligence Agency or the NIA. Let's first quickly now get to the big questions that I will now be posing on to our guests this evening as to what does this mean, why this could mean a possible closure as far as victims are concerned, and is this one step closer to closure for the victims? Is this a clear message to the anti-India elements that are also in the US? Remember, this is not just about India, this is about a global message. Next up, the next key question is, will this also, what next as far as Tahawwur Rana is concerned? What does this mean? Remember, there's an entire process that needs to be followed. What that will be, I will quickly now put that to the guests joining me. But most importantly, will this also boost the India-US intel sharing? Remember, there's also David Headley, who's not here. He's in the US. Remember, this didn't happen in one day. There was a meticulous planning that went behind it. Can India-US now have better intel partnership and collaborations to take this forward? We'll get that as well. Let's first get in Saurabh, who's joining me live from outside Kama Hospital to talk more about the horrendous terror attack, but more importantly, the fact, as I said, the questions that I'm posing. Saurabh, one step closer for the victims of 26/11 to get the closure that they need 16 years later.
Absolutely, and for Mumbaikars, for those who've lost their loved ones, for those who witnessed the terror attacks up close and personal, it is a moment of somber reconciliation with the fact that at least some of these perpetrators who till now have not faced justice in Indian courts are being brought to justice in an Indian court under Indian law in India. Where I am is a very significant place when it comes to the 26/11 terror attacks. This is the lane the terrorists used after causing mayhem at the Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj terminus, earlier known as the VT terminus. And then, of course, right here in this vicinity is where they shot down 3 officers of the Mumbai police, Ashok Kamte, Hemant Karkare, and of course Vijay Salaskar. Hemant Karkare at that time was the chief of the anti-terror squad, and all of them gave their lives, laid down their lives fighting for Mumbai fighting to save Mumbai right here in this lane. And also you have Sadanand Date, who's the current DG of the NIA, who heads the NIA, who played a critical role. The Kama hospital is right behind me. There's an entry from here. And he took on the terrorists there. He suffered injuries. He won a presidential medal for his services, bravery that night. So there are countless stories of bravery, of sacrifice, of valor, that even these terrorists who attacked Mumbai had to face the valor, the courage, the bravery of these officers who would defend their city with every bit of strength they had in their body. And that's what happened. But obviously, perpetrators like Zakir Rahman Lakhvi, Hafiz Saeed have all had safe havens in Pakistan. In fact, David Coleman Headley, in a deposition in an Indian court, which I covered a few years ago, laid bare the role of Tahawwur Rana. And of course, Tahawwur Rana, and of course, his whole support to David Coleman Headley while he was conducting the reconnaissance, figuring out targets, and doing all of the stuff that went into the 26/11 attacks eventually when it happened in Mumbai. So this is an extremely, extremely important point. 3 officers of the Mumbai police were gunned down here, and this remains one of the most crucial points in that attack. This happened early during the attacks. Remember, the attacks were a siege over 3 days. This happened on the night of the 26th when Kasab and his associate hijacked the police car here, then drove down the lane and were eventually again caught by a Mumbai police constable, Tukaram Ombole, who showed great courage in taking him down. So obviously, for all these stories of valor, sacrifice, and for Sadanand Date himself, who was fighting these terrorists in this very lane, this will be a moment of reckoning to see at least one of these perpetrators facing justice in India.
Indeed, Saurabh, that's really what the goal is all along, isn't it? I want to now get in Mohammed Ghazali, who's joining us live outside the NIA headquarters, where Tahawwur Rana will be taken to after he lands in New Delhi. It is expected, Ghazali, that it could be in the next 30 to 40 minutes that Tahawwur Rana could land in India, in Delhi.
Yeah, what we're being told that he may land at around 7 p.m. Is what the authorities are telling us, and after once he lands at the Palam airport, he will be brought here at the NIA office. Sorry, and he will undergo the medical test and all, and perhaps to save time, the authorities may produce him in front of the magistrate through video conferencing. But this is all tentative plan. We are still not sure about the time of the landing. But the bigger challenge, Gaurie, will be to get the truth out of Tahawwur Rana, because Tahawwur Rana is not somebody who is a first-time offender or has been involved in an attack like the Mumbai terror attack. He's supposed to be the mastermind of the terror attack. He is the one who visited Mumbai before the attacks, and not just Mumbai but different locations in the country. The NIA dossier on David Coleman Headley, another co-conspirator of the Mumbai attack, who also happens to be the childhood friend, his school-time friend with Tahawwur Rana. They both visited different cities here in India, and perhaps they were planning to execute more terror attacks. So who were their local handlers, who gave them all the logistical support, who are the people he met during his stay in Mumbai? He went to Cochin, he went to Ahmedabad, he went to other locations in UP as well. So that will be something which NIA will try to sort of extract from him during the interrogation. But Tahawwur Rana, as I was saying, is a hardened criminal, is what the US media have been reporting about, that he is also suffering from multiple diseases. So the challenge for NIA would be to get those details out of him, because he's not going to face the interrogation here for the first time, but he has also been investigated and interrogated by the US agencies for different crimes altogether. So he's somebody who has gone through this process, and agencies also feel that he may try to mislead the agencies once they interrogate him. So we'll have to see that once he lands, who is going to fight for, who is going to represent him in the legally, who will be his lawyer, and what kind of legal support he gets, and also what the agencies will get out of him, because the involvement of Pakistan has been established through multiple evidences. India has been talking about that how ISI, Pak Army and the entire establishment knew about the attack. So this is something which will only solidify India's allegation against Pakistan, that how Pakistan not engages or sort of pushes non-state actors
Yes.
to sort of vitiate the atmosphere in India and push terror on Indian
Absolutely. Saurabh Ghazali, thank you so much for joining me today. Rolling coverage of this continues. Appreciate both of you joining me today on India Global. I'm going to slip into a break, come back and talk more on this, because as I said, those questions need to be answered, and that's exactly what we'll do. We'll take this story forward after this break. Stay with us.
It feels good knowing that your future's in hand. Evlo can offer you a loan from £1,000 to £15,000, whether it's for home improvements or for some of life's big moments. Evlo looks beyond your credit score and always takes a case-by-case approach. Visit evlo.co.uk to get your conditional decision in minutes.
When I woke up, they said, "Alyssa, you've got leukemia." We found out that the chemo wasn't working.
Cancer is still the biggest killer of children in the UK, but innovative new treatments could help beat cancer for more children like Alyssa.
I'm cancer-free now.
Text, call or search to give £3 a month and help build a new children's cancer centre at Great Ormond Street Hospital. So together we can save more lives.
With Post Office Over 50s life cover, enjoy peace of mind knowing your family will receive a guaranteed payout when you're gone. UK resident 50 to 80, you're guaranteed acceptance. No health checks and from just £1.15 a week. Plus free 24/7 GP access with the health and wellbeing benefit. Purchase and receive a £125 gift card for amazon.co.uk, Tesco or M&S. Call Post Office on 0800 171 2211.
Protect what matters to you with Simply Safe Home Security. Get our Which Best Buy rated starter pack from under £200. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
This poor creature is a lion trapped in a cold, bare cage, alone. Terribly malnourished, just skin and bone. How can anyone simply leave a lion to rot and die? Right now, there are thousands of big cats suffering the same torment. Languishing in cruel cages, neglected, abandoned, left to die. Will you help Four Paws free big cats suffering around the world right now? Please call 0800 035 7798, text RESCUE to 70544, or go online and give just £3 a month. Help Four Paws cut the bars and rescue these cats from their prisons. Help us take them to our sanctuaries where they can begin to recover. You'll be setting big cats free from pain and protecting them from cruelty, letting them see the blue sky above and breathe the clean, fresh air of freedom for the first time. But they are the lucky ones. Please call 0800 035 7798, text RESCUE to 70544 to give £3 a month via your mobile phone. Because if no one cuts the bars and frees these big cats, they will die trapped and alone.
Rana's run has indeed ended, and with that, the wait for the 26/11 survivors and also the victims as well. But what happens now, more importantly, is this now a template for New India, when it will now ensure that justice as far as terrorism activities, terrorist attacks are concerned, will be met no matter how long it takes. AP Singh, former director of the CBI, will be with me, but let me first get across to Ankur Chawla, who's a survivor of that horrendous attack, and we'll also get Glenn Carr, former Deputy National Intelligence Officer for Transnational Threats of the CIA. Ankur, let me start by asking you, it's a somber moment, but also a very difficult moment, I understand, for you. You're reliving the trauma, but at the same time, are you having a certain sense of closure that I spoke about earlier, which is that the mastermind of the 26/11 terror plot is now going to face justice in India?
Well, thank you for having me. No, of course, like you rightly mentioned, and I was, listening about this entire report, obviously closely following it. It's surely a step, closer to, let's say, the entire closure. We are surely, I've been in touch with a lot of my friends from the past. These kind of incidences is when you sort of go back and, your memory sort of runs back to the incidences which happen and takes you to the flashbacks of, the incidents. But yeah, I mean, it definitely gives you a sort of satisfaction that yes, it might be delayed a lot, but it's not forgotten. It's also a great statement, I think, coming, to the universe or to the world, saying that, we haven't really forgotten it and we would not let it go very easily. So that way, it is a somber moment for sure. It is surely, a step closer. But, somewhere or the other, to be very honest, it also feels that 16 and a half years later, we are saying we are one step closer, which sort of, doesn't give you as much, if I may, happiness that it could have been, done earlier. But I think great work for that matter that, things are still progressing and we have not really forgotten it.
Glenn, comment on the fact that this did happen, the extradition. Of course, the legal proceedings have been going on for a while. Rana was exercising all the legal options available to him. But this year, when Prime Minister Modi and President Trump met, it sort of sealed Rana's fate, didn't it? And what's the message here? How should we be now viewing this important development from a larger point of India's fight against terror?
Well, it's a symbolic act and one that certainly will bring some satisfaction or at least relief, maybe, to India and to Indians. But I think it really is a symbolic one. I'm not certain that Trump had anything special to do with this. The Supreme Court of the United States decided in 2023 to allow or approve from a legal perspective, the extradition. And I think that all was in process long before Trump had anything to do with it. However, terrorism is an easy win for India and the United States in cooperation. Our objectives are just about identical. And whether a terrorist is in an American prison or an Indian one, from a counterterrorism official's perspective, doesn't really matter too much. So the symbolism, I think, is significant. I don't mean to dismiss that, but a fundamental shift coming because of the Trump administration, I would say not. It's an easy symbolic way to demonstrate a desire to work closely together.
And Glenn, where do you think that is now going to take the two countries forward? Because, at the end of the day, to fight and to beat terrorism, you need to have robust intel sharing platforms and mechanisms.
Yeah, two things on that. The intelligence cooperation has been for many years, back when I was working even between India and the United States on terrorist issues, pretty good. That will go on behind the scenes, independent in most instances, independent of political considerations. However, under the Trump administration, Trump is clearly, although in a formal sense he will deny it, the administration will deny it, is more hostile to Islam than Biden was. Biden was not hostile to Islam. And so it's an easy thing for Trump to do to give the appearance of, or perhaps some reality to closer Indian-U.S. cooperation. Extraditing a terrorist who everyone wants to see behind bars is not really, except from a legal perspective perhaps, a difficult way to show cooperation. The intelligence cooperation has been going on. I don't anticipate
it has been. There were reports that some of this planning actually started from 2001, and these mechanisms of intel sharing have been around for more than 2 decades. Ankur, let me ask you this, that as things stand right now, I come back to the point that you'd earlier made, which is that this is an important step, this is an important development, but still it's a step. Or do you think uh, we are close to ensuring that full justice is finally given to 2611 victims and survivors like yourself?
Well, it's definitely a significant step for sure, that it's moving towards the right direction. But saying that full justice has already been done is something which I'm not sort of very much convinced with as of now. I feel there is enough and more that has to come out as well. There are more people, and there is more information to be taken off. So yeah. So to answer your question, I think it is still a step towards the right direction and a significant one. But full disclosure, I'm not too sure right now.
Okay, that's on that note, I'm going to end this. Thank you so much, Glenn and Arun, for really sharing your thoughts there. Bottom line, viewers, is that at the end of the day, 2611 happened, the dastardly attack happened in 2008. 16 years later, 2 governments later, finally Tahawwur Rana is going to be in India soon. Remember, the charge sheet happened in 2011. It's been 14 years since then. Many legal steps India had to cross for this moment to finally come. But it sends a message. It sends a message to all anti-India elements in the US, elsewhere, that when it comes to ensuring justice for terrorism-related activities, India will not stop. And secondly, it also sets a template that going forward, it will crack down on terrorism that much more strongly. And I feel that going forward, the intel framework between India and the US will be far more robust, far more efficient, and able to handle any such possible attacks going forward. On that note, I'm going to now turn attention to the other important story that we are discussing on India Global today, which is days after Bangladesh Chief Advisor Mohammad Yunus advocated the extension of the Chinese economy around the strategically important Northeast India region. New Delhi has terminated the transshipment facility for Bangladesh export cargo, a move that will disrupt Bangladesh's trade with several countries. MEA said it's because of cost factors, but at the end of the day, this will mean that Bangladesh's exports to Nepal, to Bhutan, possibly even to Myanmar will be impacted. That's the big message coming in from India, that you mess, you will get a reply. You try and talk something about the Indian sovereignty, there will be a strong rebuttal coming in. And now that this is going to stop, China is not going to come and help Bangladesh fix this problem, is it? Which is the biggest message that India is trying to send here. Let's get in Veena Sikri, former High Commissioner of India to Bangladesh, to talk more about this. Amir Ullah Khan, who's an economist, will also join us to talk about what the impact of this is going to be, the impact of the transshipment facility being stopped on the Bangladeshi economy in terms of the extent it will hurt Bangladeshi exports, is the question I'm going to put forth to Amirullah Khan. But Veena Sikri, come in there. I want to ask from you that what is the kind of messaging do you think this sends to Dhaka after it made those very objectionable claims about Chinese extension all the way till Northeast India?
Well, yes, I think that the remarks made by Professor Mohammad Yunus while speaking to Chinese businessmen in Beijing, those were completely objectionable. I mean, he had the absolute gall to treat Northeast India as though it belonged to him, And he said that we control the access of Northeast India and we are the guardians of the oceans for them. So they're inviting the Chinese to come and use Northeast India as an extension of the Chinese economy. This was completely unacceptable. I tell you, this was a remark for which he should be really making a very deep apology for, making this kind of remark on India, which is completely uncalled for. And well, I think that the decision of the government of India on the facilities for transshipment that had been given 5 years ago to Bangladeshi exporters, which was a very valuable facility for them, a transshipment where they could use Indian ports and Indian customs ports, get their products into India and then exported from India using Indian airports and Indian facilities, which had really hastened up their exports, which made them, deliver their exports on time, which was a great importance for them because their own ports in Chittagong and Mongla and Dhaka airport, they're really overcrowded and there's a tremendous sense of delay in exporters who have to meet very tight deadlines. So certainly this decision will affect Bangladesh exports, but we've been very careful that it should not affect trade within South Asia, and we've made it clear that.
But this is the classic playbook, isn't it? Playbook response, which is that a message that was so objectionable from Dhaka, questioning India's sovereignty, has been responded in a manner that hits home the hardest without upending the diplomatic ties, which are going through a sensitive phase.
Yes, I think it is a very correct response. You're quite right. We've made the point very clear, and I think the Bangladesh exporters should really listen to this lesson and realize that there are no free rides on this. You cannot make these very nasty comments about India's northeastern states, about their involvement. And to tell you more frankly, under Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, India and Bangladesh had reached very specific agreements about access by Northeast Indian states' goods to Mongla port and to Chittagong port. And this was a very valuable decision because it meant that, from Calcutta, Mongla port is just a day's shipping. And then from there, you took the riverine route to reach Northeast states in just a couple of days, 3-4 days. And similarly, for Chittagong port, the access for the Northeast is through Tripura, and there's a bridge that has been built on the river Feni to allow access into Bangladesh through Tripura. And from there, Chittagong port is very near, just about 75 kilometers. But the Bangladesh new regime, which is not even a constitutional regime, completely illegitimate regime, has been taking its own decisions on not respecting earlier agreements. Government-to-government agreements between the governments and Bangladesh. So this is something that is completely unacceptable. First of all, they're not even in any position of authority to take decisions on this because it's an interim regime, and they should wait till the election results to see what the new government would want to do.
Nobody knows when those elections are going to take place, but they're holding the promise of a democratic transition soon. Veena Sikri, I have to leave it there. Thanks much for joining me. And on that note, I'm going to slip into a very short break, come back on the other side on India Global and talk more about what's the latest that's unfolding in Trump land right now, given that screening, even social media screening, is happening of potential immigrants. Stay with me, I'll come back on that story.
Hey, look at our Simply Safe home security system.
Let's install it.
We need another camera.
What for?
They're collectibles. What?
Now you've got a camera each.
Yay!
Systems start from under £200 when you buy a professional monitoring plan. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
The Sharps half-price spring sale is now on. Get Sharps bespoke fitted furniture for every room, from bedrooms to home offices and living spaces. Many ranges are now half price, including our best-selling Shaker range. Our exclusive Space Plus system means we won't be beaten on space. Plus, you get our 15-year guarantee for total peace of mind. Don't miss the Sharps half-price spring sale. Book your free home design visit today at sharps.co.uk.
Years, because your brain really matters.
At Direct Line, we know that for multi-property landlords, sometimes the tiniest of things can turn into way bigger problems. From niggly contract issues to keeping up with ever-changing legislation. That's why Direct Line's landlord insurance offers a 24/7 legal helpline as standard. Because a call with someone could help to make the hairiest of problems feel that little bit smoother. Search Direct Line Landlord Insurance. We're on it.
You're watching India Global. I'm Gaurie Dwivedi. As said, the other big story that we are tracking right now, well, there's some breaking news that's coming in. Let's address that, and then we go back to the other big story. That is that 2611 Mastermind Tahawwur Rana has landed in India. It's a tense finale to the 16-year-long justice battle that India has been fighting, and so have been the survivors. Rana has landed in Delhi on a special flight. The mastermind brought to justice. He's dragged back to India, and it's a big win for India's fight against terrorism. 16 years on, 2611 victims are now one step closer to closure. Now, what next for Tahawwur Rana is the question that we've been asking, and hopefully we'll get answers to that in the next coming days. All right, let's now turn attention to the other important story on India Global. U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services have announced that it will begin screening immigrants' social media for evidence of anti-Semitic activity as grounds for denying immigration benefit requests. Immigration, remember, is not a right. It is a privilege, of course, that has to be given. That is well known. But the fact is, if social media accounts start getting screened, what is the message that is being sent out to all those who are applying through legal routes to become lawful immigrants in the US, whether as permanent residents, whether as foreign students, or any other such opportunities legally available to immigrants around the world? The fact that social media accounts are now going to be screened for anti-Semitic activity, how does that matter? How does that impact these applicants? Is that now going too far? Are those questions now related to freedom of speech more than anything else? Well, this comes as the Trump administration has attempted to crack down on pro-Palestinian protests over Israel's devastating military assault on Gaza and Hamas's deadly attack that took place in 2023. As always, the big questions on the show. First up, free speech now grounds for denying US entry. Next question, is Trump's latest order actually a privacy breach more than anything else, because you're actually mining people's social media accounts? And is that now going to be prioritized over better academic credentials? If, let's say, you are someone applying to an Ivy League college, you have all the academic credentials, but your social media seems to be questionable. Is that grounds enough to be denied an admission into, let's say, an Ivy League college? Lastly, is freedom of speech not so free as far as Trump's America is concerned? Ray Locker with me on the broadcast. Ray, those are tough questions. Hopefully, well, let's wait whether we get an official response to any of those or not from Trump administration. But the fact is, as I was saying, if you are a candidate who's been selected for an Ivy League college and your social media mining suddenly raises some red flags for the Trump administration, you're suddenly not good enough to be an Ivy League student?
Well, it's not only Ivy League, it's any university in the United States. I mean, every university in this country does very well by admitting international students. They pay more money to attend schools. They enrich the cultural lives of those universities and the students who attend them. So they're all at risk because of this. And it's a dramatic overreach of government authority.
No, it is an overreach of government authority, but I want to ask any numbers that you can help me with as to in terms of what is the size at which we are talking, the number of people that could be impacted here, because you said it's not just students, right? It's all possible legal immigrants who could be running into choppy waters with their application.
Oh, it's millions of people. I don't have an exact number, but you know, somebody from India applies to come to the United States to attend school, to immigrate legally, to get some kind of legal visa. And someone who knows who it is combing through that person's social media accounts to find anything that they deem, you know, anti-Semitic. And that's in the eye of the beholder. You know, there's no objective standard for what is anti-Semitic or not. I mean, you could say, I hate Jews. That certainly qualifies. But you could also say, I don't like what Israel is doing in Gaza. And some people equate that with anti-Semitism, that any criticism of Israel or its policies is somehow anti-Semitic, which I don't believe it is.
And this could be whether it is the H-1B visas, whether it's the F-1 visas, whether it's about, you know, any other such category, all legal immigrants, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. And it's dangerous. I mean, it isolates the United States from the rest of the world. I mean, some people may want that to actually happen. I certainly don't. Don't think it furthers U.S. interests. The more that we withdraw from the rest of the world, the more other nations who have more expansionist designs, such as China, have a chance to fill that gap. And, traditionally, the United States has been a beacon for people from around the world. They enjoy our lifestyle and our freedoms, and we should be welcoming those people, regardless of how they feel about Israel.
Robert Moran joins me as well to talk about the scale at which this could impact America as well, because a lot of American companies, American universities, they run or are heavily dependent on legal immigrants, highly skilled legal immigrants, isn't it? And if all of those are in the dock, then it raises serious questions for the US society, economy as well.
So I think that's a good point. If you look at the dynamics of universities and the economic dynamics of colleges and universities in the United States, they rely on a large number of student visas to come here and study and learn and also pay tuition. And so if you start to restrict that, or if people decide that they don't want to come here to study, that has an impact on American colleges and universities, and then a long-term downstream impact and the workplace. And I think there's a downstream long-term economic impact if something like this continues.
The other question I want to ask you is that what would be your advice to lakhs of people watching this discussion right now who would be wondering whether their application is in the dock because of one tweet they wrote, one Instagram post they may have mentioned, maybe inadvertently? What would be your message to all of them?
So I think it's, in our modern era, I think it's, despite the fact that we do have free speech, I do think it's wise to consider what you're posting. And that employers in the future could use it, that governments in other governments besides the United States, other societies that you may want to work in. So unfortunately, while I do believe in free speech, I also think it's important to understand that there are consequences, especially in the workplace, if you post things that might give a future employer pause about your employment. And so I think it's good to be safe.
What would you say, Ray, to all those people who would be looking at possibilities of coming to America, as I said, on any of those categories? What would be your message to them? Assuming, let's say, they have something in their social media accounts which may qualify as anti-Semitic.
Well, first of all, I'd recommend them taking it off their social media account to the extent that that's possible. I know that people can find those things, but why not, make it a little bit harder to find those things? And as Robert said, I mean, one of the things you got to do is think twice before you post something online. So many people don't think at all, and that's why they get in trouble. They just throw things out there.
Is this something that will stand? I understand that immigration is not a right. It's a privilege, and that's the case for any country. The US is not an exception there. But could such policies may be challenged possibly legally? Are those avenues open?
Oh yeah, I mean, look, everything's been challenged so far.
Because of the arbitrary nature, Robert, do you think, because there's a certain amount of discretion involved, arbitrariness involved, do you think possibilities of legal challenges exist?
So I'm sure that there will be legal challenges. I think for your audience, there are two issues. The first issue is, to what degree does the United States or any sovereign nation have the ability to police the sort of behavior and posting of visitors to the country, right? So that's the first question. The second question really revolves around where does free speech end and sort of the implications of free speech or the business or commercial implications of free speech begin. And I think even within the United States to American citizens, that is a very murky area about the degree to which they have complete political free speech, but also in the workplace that could cause them problems. And I think that that's still very murky even for US citizens.
All right, Ray and Robert, I'll leave it there. Thanks much for joining me on a story that is disturbing to so many lakhs of immigrants looking at legal opportunities available to them in the US. But viewers, bottom line really here is that there are two important facts. One, that immigration is not a right, it's a privilege. And US is not an exception. All countries have that same attitude and they extend that privilege to whoever ticks all the boxes. Likewise, the second important fact is that when it comes to freedom of speech, it is not absolute. There are conditions there. Again, US is not an exception there. That's largely the rule anywhere in the world. But the moment such regulations come into place, where social media posts become the deciding factor, that's where discretion takes a turn for the negative, something that will have disastrous consequences, not just for the legal immigrants who are looking at opportunities in the US, but for the US economy as well, which runs on highly skilled immigrant workforce. And what started as a fight against illegal aliens is now slowly but surely turning towards highly skilled legal immigrants, a move that will be disastrous for the US society and US economy the most. On that note, a quick break. I come back with more on the other side. Stay with me.
I'll fix him, love. Poor pet. Just shows you never know what's going to happen. Which reminds me, I need to protect the life we've built. That's why I'm looking into smart family life insurance. Hi, I'd like a quick quote, please.
OK. You can choose a benefit amount up to £750,000, depending on your age. If you're a UK resident aged 18 to 64, you can apply with just a few health and lifestyle questions. For £250,000 of cover, the price starts at just £14.77 a month.
That's less than I thought. And it could help my husband with the mortgage.
Just like families, not all life insurance is the same. That's why we offer the Smart Family Guarantee.
That's good to know.
You'll also receive a 100% advance in the event of terminal illness and 10% cash back on your first year's premiums. That's the Smart Cashback. Plus, you'll also get your choice of a £125 gift card.
Protect the life you've built the smart way. To get a free quote today, call our specialist UK team on 0800 977 5753 or visit smartinsurance.co.uk.
When I woke up, they said, Alyssa, you've got leukemia. We found out that the chemo wasn't working.
Cancer is still the biggest killer of children in the UK, but innovative new treatments could help beat cancer for more children like Alyssa.
I'm cancer-free now.
Text, call or search to give £3 a month and help build a new children's cancer centre at Great Ormond Street Hospital. So together, we can save more lives.
It feels good knowing that your future's in hand. Evlo can offer you a loan from £1,000 to £15,000, whether it's for home improvements or for some of life's big moments. Evlo looks beyond your credit score and always takes a case-by-case approach. Visit evlo.co.uk to get your conditional decision in minutes.
With retirement round the corner, I want to spend more time with my family and less time worrying about the numbers. Which reminds me,
Welcome to British Seniors, the UK's #1 rated provider of over 50s life insurance.
Hi, I'd like a quick quote.
No problem. We're proud to offer our seniors lifetime guarantee. With 100% of claims having been paid, we guarantee your premiums will never go up and that you'll speak to one of our specialists in the UK. UK residents aged 50 to 80 are guaranteed to be accepted. Depending on your age, your loved ones can get a cash payout up to £10,000.
And that money could help with funeral costs or even as a gift for the grandkids. I'll do it.
Plus, when you sign up, you'll receive a £135 gift card and free 24/7 GP advice and health services.
You got them all right. That's amazing.
Be proud to protect your loved ones with British Seniors. To get a free quote today, call our UK team on 0800 977 5808 or visit britishseniors.co.uk.
Protect what matters to you with Simply Safe Home Security. Get our Which Best Buy rated starter pack from under £200. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Mumbai terror attacks are concerned. Detailed press statement by the National Investigation Agency. This is the primary and principal agency that has plucked Tahawwur Hussain Rana from the United States and hauled him back to India. They have his custody now and they will be processing him under the legal provisions that the Indian legal system has right now. It's very, very interesting because the extradition process, as detailed in this NIA statement, the first formal word from the government of India, is that it has taken literally 16 years for that extradition to actually come to fruition. It's a sobering thought that it takes nearly 2 decades for something like this to actually bear fruit, but it is also a very telling commentary on the tenacity of continuing administrations. The UPA government before this government now, that have continued to focus and never give up in the attempt to bring Tahawwur Hussain Rana back. Sunil Prabhu continues to be with us at the NIA. Sunil, a special public prosecutor, Narendra Mann, was appointed a couple of days ago. We had put out that information. Now all the bells and whistles of the legal system will kick in. One remembers how things played out as far as Ajmal Amir Kasab was concerned. There may be some lessons from how things happened at that time. We've heard many voices, to be sure, among victims and families, hoping that things will be far swifter this time. What do you think is going to happen?
Well, the biggest challenge will be for the India's NIA as well as security agencies, the multi-agency probe, to break him, to be able to elicit information. He's a hardened terrorist and has been part of the ISI module for a very, very long time. He's worked with David Headley and various other key conspirators, the deep state of the Pakistan establishment, be it Pakistan government, Pakistan army, and whoever, the ISI. It's going to be the biggest challenge to break him and to be able to find out who were the key conspirators, how did he act, where did he get the money from, how did he organize this, why did he set up this entire immigration place, how many times did he take David Headley and get facilitated to come to India, go to Pakistan, come back. It's only then that India realized that there was a blip in the system, which they finally, because on normal terms you would just recognize David Headley as an American citizen and not as a Pakistan national. And it's in that context that many of these questions will be a big challenge for the intelligence agencies to break him, to be able to find out. They will of course have to take him to the site, to Mumbai, to do that entire exercise before they go ahead with that charge sheet. But I think that's the biggest challenge for investigating agencies. Let's remember the NIA was created post 26/11. This is one of their biggest challenges, a test case for them to ensure after the extradition process has been completed, a very balanced statement has come from them, that they will now take it to its logical conclusion.
Absolutely. A lot of things will happen now. Of course, we'll keep reporting on the processes which take place after Tahawwur Rana, in fact, is brought out of that airport. But at this moment, the biggest story that we are tracking here on NDTV, Tahawwur Hussain Rana, 64-year-old Pakistani-Canadian national who was the key conspirator of the 26/11 attacks, is in India and all set to face the might of the Indian judicial system. We'll keep getting you the details, ladies and gentlemen, minute by minute update, all first and factual here on NDTV. We are stepping into a short break. Coming back, stay tuned.
Did we?
Yes, we did.
Professional monitoring?
Activated. This summer, leave your worries behind. Protect what matters to you with Simply Safe Home Security. Systems start from under £200 with the professional monitoring plan. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
With Post Office Over 50s life cover, enjoy peace of mind knowing your family will receive a guaranteed payout when you're gone. UK resident 50 to 80, you're guaranteed acceptance. No health checks and from just £1.15 a week. Plus free 24/7 GP access with the health and wellbeing benefit. Purchase and receive a £125 gift card for Amazon.co.uk, Tesco or M&S. Call Post Office on 0800 171 2211.
The Sharps half-price spring sale is now on. Get Sharps bespoke fitted furniture for every room, from bedrooms to home offices and living spaces. Many ranges are now half price, including our best-selling shaker range. Our exclusive Space Plus system means we won't be beaten on space. Plus, you get our 15-year guarantee for total peace of mind. Don't miss the Sharps half-price spring sale. Book your free home design visit today at sharps.co.uk.
This baby bear is terrified. Torn from her mother's paws at a tender age. They will force her to live alone in a tiny, filthy cage, like so many bears driven mad by loneliness, rubbing their wounds raw against the bars, suffering cruelly day after day, year after year, just for people's entertainment. Four Paws found little Potap crammed into a tiny, squalid cage. He'd been there for almost 9 years, lonely and isolated. There are so many more young bears who need your help. Please call 0800 038 0496 or text BEAR5 to 70800 to give £3 a month via your mobile phone. Every month, your £3 could help us free more bears. Help give bears the veterinary care they need and help them live happy, healthy lives in the freedom of our natural sanctuaries. Please call 0800 038 0496 or text BEAR5 to 70800 to give £3 a month via your mobile phone and help Four Paws free bears from agonizing torture. Please, don't leave these bears to suffer for a single day more.
In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora. We cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World, your new home for global news is here.
From interesting tech startups to industry-leading companies, politics, sports, culture, curry, cricket. Oh, there's so much to talk about. Like me, if you too thrive on interesting conversations, this is a show you cannot miss. Watch this space to know more about all matters and all people that make Britain what it is today. Out of Britain, with me, Radhika Iyer.
So we told you first, the terrorist is here. He's on Indian soil. He's in Indian hands. Ankit, last-minute paperwork being conducted right now on the ground at the Palam airport in Delhi. Aishwarya Jain is right outside the Palam technical area. The documentation is very important. We, after all, are not a tin pot country, Aishwarya. So, everything, all the boxes need to be ticked as far as process is concerned. And that's what's happening right now, even with a terrorist like Tahawwur.
Well, every box needs to be ticked as far as the security agencies are concerned, and that's what the agencies are currently doing. Tahawwur Hussain Rana had been successfully extradited from the United States. It was the first response from the NIA which has come in, and now he's all set to face the heat of the Indian legal system. There would be a case that has already been registered at the NIA. Public prosecutor had been appointed, and at this point we can confirm to our viewers that currently the paperwork inside the Palam Technical Airport is going on, with NIA officials already reaching at the Palam Technical Airport with senior officials of the agency. Well, and anytime soon we can expect Tahawwur Hussain Rana to be taken out from the Palam Technical Airport, and most likely he would be taken to the NIA headquarters near Lodi Road. But certainly it is very important that the safe passage and as smooth as possible security agencies which are deployed multiple areas. They want to pass that area, but heavy movement over here. The security deployment is tight. There's multi-level security. The squad team of the Delhi police has already gone inside, with paramilitary forces also being deployed for Tahawwur Hussain Rana. What I have seen since morning is multiple cars of course, the security agencies, but it was also the the ambulances and the cars that had been gone in. But 15. As I was mentioning, because the paperwork is something that the agencies want to complete before him taking out from the Palam Technical Airport.
Absolutely. All eyes, ladies and gentlemen, if you are tuning in at this moment, these two spots is what the entire nation is watching at this moment, that Palam Technical Area, the airport from where Tahawwur Rana will be brought out, and the NIA headquarters. They are the spots where the entire nation at this moment is watching, because remember, 26/11 was just not, the carnage took place in Mumbai, but it's a scar for the entire country, and one of the key conspirators now is back on Indian soil in the hands of the Indian agencies. We are slipping into a short break. Updates will continue here on NDTV. Stay tuned.
Hello, Moto.
I'll fix him, love. Poor pet. Just shows you never know what's going to happen. Which reminds me, I need to protect the life we've built. That's why I'm looking into Smart Family Life Insurance. Hi, I'd like a quick quote, please.
Okay. You can choose a benefit amount up to £750,000, depending on your age. If you're a UK resident aged 18 to 64, you can apply with just a few health and lifestyle questions. For £250,000 of cover, the price starts at just £14.77 a month.
That's less than I thought. And it could help my husband with the mortgage.
Just like families, not all life insurance is the same. That's why we offer the Smart Family Guarantee.
That's good to know.
You'll also receive a 100% advance in the event of terminal illness and 10% cash back on your first year's premiums. That's the Smart Cashback. Plus, you'll also get your choice of a £125 gift card.
Protect the life you've built the smart way. To get a free quote today, call our specialist UK team on 0800 977 5753 or visit smartinsurance.co.uk.
Dulux Standard 2.5 litre coloured emulsion, now £15. Feel as proud as a peacock with Wix.
It feels good knowing that your future's in hand. Evlo can offer you a loan from £1,000 to £15,000, whether it's for home improvements or for some of life's big moments. Evlo looks beyond your credit score and always takes a case-by-case approach. Visit evlo.co.uk to get your conditional decision in minutes.
With retirement round the corner, I want to spend more time with my family and less time worrying about the numbers. Which reminds me...
Welcome to British Seniors, the UK's #1 rated provider of over 50s life insurance.
Hi, I'd like a quick quote.
No problem. We're proud to offer our seniors lifetime guarantee. With 100% of claims having been paid, we guarantee your premiums will never go up and that you'll speak to one of our specialists in the UK. UK residents aged 50 to 80 are guaranteed to be accepted. Depending on your age, your loved ones can get a cash payout up to £10,000.
And that money could help with funeral costs or even as a gift for the grandkids. I'll do it.
Plus, when you sign up, you'll receive a £135 gift card and free 24/7 GP advice and health services.
You got them all right. That's amazing.
Be proud to protect your loved ones with British Seniors. To get a free quote today, call our UK team on 0800 977 5808 or visit britishseniors.co.uk.
Brain really matters.
Hello everyone and welcome to the special broadcast. Tahawwur Hussain Rana, the chief conspirator in 26/11 terror attacks, has arrived in India, and there is a formal confirmation which has come in from the National Investigation Agency. In fact, the agency has put out a detailed press release where they are saying that on Thursday, that is today, they have managed successful extradition of Tahawwur Hussain Rana, the mastermind of the deadly 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks, after years of sustained and concerted efforts to bring the key conspirator behind the 2008 mayhem to justice. And Nikunj, you would elaborate on that. It's 17 years of struggle, and here they're talking about the assistance which has been provided by the Department of Justice, the US Sky Marshal as well.
Well, absolutely. This is for the first time, interestingly enough, that Government of India, Ministry of Home Affairs, the National Investigation Agency has mentioned the role of the US Sky Marshals. Now, that's the agency which handles custody of the wanted and custody of the accused by the law in the United States when they are not on the land, which means that they are airborne. Now, in this particular case, quite clearly, US Sky Marshals, the National Investigation Agency, in its official communication, which is the first official communication coming to us from the government in the form of an elaborate statement, which also clarifies on multiple other things like years of collaboration and years of sustained hard work with the Department of Justice, etc., with which most of the people in the realm of law enforcement, prosecution, and people familiar with those developments are generally aware about. But for the first time, US Sky Marshals are being mentioned in this, which means that the transfer of the custody was done under the watch of the US Sky Marshals from the American side. From the Indian side, of course, it was a joint component of National Investigation Agency, the intelligence agencies, and the law enforcement component that had traveled from India to secure that custody. So quite clearly, moving on towards the extradition, the role of the US Sky Marshals came into play, which the National Investigation Agency has duly thanked in their formal press release. At the moment, we are breaking for our viewers that minutes from before this broadcast started, the Government of India, National Investigation Agency, Ministry of Home Affairs put out a formal statement. First formal word came out from the National Investigation Agency saying that Tahawwur Hussain Rana has been successfully Mumbai 2611 mastermind, conspirator, financier, somebody who provided active cover to Dave Coleman Headley, the scout for Mumbai 2611, has been successfully brought to Indian shores. Maria?
Yes. Ghazali is joining us from Patiala House Court, and that's where Tahawwur Hussain Rana will be brought in sometime from now. At the NIA headquarters, we have Sunil Prabhu, and at Palam Airport, that's where the entire action is playing out, is Anushka. Anushka, coming to you. Show us what exactly is playing out behind you.
That's right, Mare. In a short while from now, Tahawwur Rana will be in fact walking out. We're also learning that the NIA is right now taking care of all the paperwork, all the protocols that needs to be followed for him to walk in the Indian soil. We'll also show you some visuals of the movement that can be seen here. We are outside the Palam Technical Airport. We have been reporting from here since early in the morning, and we are showing you the visuals of this whole airport. Tahawwur Rana, after the paperwork is completed, he will be in fact taken by a safe route. 3 routes have been prepared by the Delhi police, which will be in fact used to in fact escort Tahawwur Rana. First primary is the primary route that will be used, along with 2 alternate routes. If any issue arise on the primary route, one of the alternate routes will be utilized. A green corridor has not been established, but green signals will be given. Red lights. The journey from Palam Technical Airbase to NIA is 17 kilometers, whereas the distance to Patiala House Court is 14 kilometers. Now remember, it has been a long journey, and in fact Tahawwur Rana had in fact also said that he was suffering from a lot of diseases. He did say he was suffering from Parkinson's disease. He was also suffering from a lot of problems.
What is the NIA telling you in terms of what will be followed now?
Well, yes, absolutely. And my old friend Sunil Prabhu is back there at the National Investigation Agency's headquarters. Sunil, some movement there giving you some impression of him being brought to that place before taken to the Patiala House Court, or after taking him to the Patiala House Court? Sunil?
I think they will first bring him, they'll have to do the the medical examination. So that's the place here. You can see the movement that is taking place as we speak. All security arrangements are being done here by the Delhi police to take and, ensure whatever happens is done in a foolproof manner. So I think, in my understanding, it will be the NIA headquarters before for the moment. They would actually like to avoid taking him to Patiala Court because there is a provision in the law for an in-camera hearing, and there's no immediate hurry. If he's landed today at 6 o'clock, there's still time technically till tomorrow There's a full 24 hours that is required. Once he's handed over, as you rightly pointed out, by the Sky Marshals to the Indian Authority, the NIA has formally now, since he has touched Indian soil, put out that statement, a very balanced statement and a very clear statement saying that now that he's been extradited, they will then formally arrest him and then follow the, as per the law, the procedures that have been to be followed. So definitely we expect him to come here to the NIA headquarters before they go forward with the entire procedure. It's going to be a long drawn-out process, and I think definitely the Delhi police and others are moving no stone unturned to ensure that everything comes without any hitch at all.
All right, Sunil, a word now from Ghazali, who's joining us from Patiala House Court. What are you seeing there, Ghazali? We believe NIA prosecutors have started arriving there.
Yeah, what we are being told right now, what you can see here, CRPF, Delhi police, they have all started cordoning off this entire entrance of gate number 4, from where it is expected that once, if the NIA comes here before reaching the headquarters, if Tahawwur Rana will be brought from this entrance, because the security has been beefed up. We are also being told that a special judge of the NIA court will be hearing the matter. The prosecutors have also arrived. Absolutely no one is allowed to go inside the court, near the courtroom where the hearing is likely to take place, if it is not through the video conferencing. But right now, Delhi police has cordoned off this entire entrance. If you see behind me, they are putting up ropes and all, not allow anyone near the entrance of the court. And inside the court, near the courtroom also, perhaps we are being told that Delhi police has deployed its men so that nobody even reaches near the court. And it is not yet clear whether Tahawwur Rana, after being taken from the airport, will be taken to the NIA headquarters, as Sunil was pointing out, or first he will be taken here to the court.
Okay. All right, Ghazali, continue to be with us. We have all our reporters on ground covering all the bases, and Radhika is joining us from outside Taj Mahal Hotel. Radhika, it's been a long day for you, and also 17-year-long wait for justice for all the survivors and people of India in general. You have been speaking to the survivors, you have been speaking to the lawyers. Perhaps everybody has been waiting for this moment, the extradition which has come through.
Absolutely, everybody has been waiting for this moment. In fact, as far as Indian agencies are concerned, this is a big win. But as far as survivors and victims of 26/11 are concerned, this is a huge relief and some sort of closure, certainly. May not be a complete closure of sorts, but some sort of closure, because it is just the one terrorist. One terrorist was caught, and then, of course, later, of course, he was given capital punishment. That was Ajmal Kasab. Beyond that one terrorist who was caught at the time, no big conspirator was caught by the Indian agencies. No mastermind was caught. Of course, Tahawwur Rana's extradition was something that the Indian agencies were awaiting. We know for a fact that they also wanted to get hold of David Headley, which did not happen. His deposition led them to Tahawwur Rana, and then the entire process started. Of course, his active role is something that has been mentioned in multiple charge sheet files, not just by the NIA, but by the Mumbai police themselves. 2023, a charge sheet file which speaks about how Tahawwur Rana facilitated David Headley's stay in Mumbai. Logistical support was given to him. And besides that, Rana himself had conducted recce. He was in the city of Mumbai just ahead of attacks. So a lot of active information as far as Tahawwur Rana's presence and his conspiracy and his involvement in the attacks are concerned. How he was an intermediary between David Headley as well as LET terror, is something that has been said in the charge sheets. And of course, the probe agencies have also revealed that. So yes, multiple evidence being given by the agencies here that led to this extradition. Certainly a big day as far as every person in Mumbai is concerned. This is one step closer to justice, certainly for victims.
Absolutely. Radhika, continue to be with us. We have Aishwarya Jain also joining us from Palam Airport. Aishwarya, we can tell our viewers now that Tahawwur Hussain Rana has been arrested, and what are the sections of IPC under which he has been arrested? Could you share some details, please?
Well, our senior colleague Mukesh Singh Sengar has brought this information to us. Under the UAPA Act, Section 16, 18 and 20 have been imposed on Tahawwur Hussain Rana. Under IPC 120B, 121, 120, 1A, 302, 468 and 478 of the IPC had been imposed on 11th November 2009. NIA registered this case against Tahawwur Singh.
Aishwarya, if you can hear me, just Aishwarya, if you can hear me, just turn around. My sense is this is the moment. This is the moment when this mastermind of Mumbai 2611. Just turn around, look back, try to talk over those visuals. My sense is that this is the moment. This is the moment when this terrorist who was holed up in an American prison for years now, is going to be brought